So you're on your LaFace. So you think about, I mean, we've spoken about, the '90s was such an amazing year for R&B music because they had the labels like LaFace and Bad Boy and Jam and Lewis had Perspective. We had all these small Death Row. We had all these small, and so LaFace were very known for TLC, Usher, Outkast, Tony Braxton. I mean, as yet, so they it was a really amazing label. So now you're on that, and the Face was coming up with soundtracks from Boomerang to
Yeah.
Soul Food and
Right. But I sang on the Boomerang soundtrack before I officially signed to LaFace. But I got to sing the Boomerang.
yeah, I mean, I do remember, I do remember that, and but you're on LaFace then. What's the difference being on a smaller label like LaFace compared to A&M and then Motown? Now you're on a small label where you sort of yeah, and they've got really established acts who are really making it, like TLC and Usher and the
Right.
rest.
I was excited to be on the label. First, I'm big fans of I'm a big Babyface fan, L.A. Reid, and just watching what they did with Tony Braxton, TLC, Usher, Outkast. I'm like, wow, even though it was considered a smaller label, they were doing big things. So I was excited. I didn't feel like I was on a smaller label. And and they had the budget, and then like so they had the funding, the money, so I was excited. I was actually really excited to work with them.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember Donnell Jones was there as well.
At the same time, I was there when Donnell was there.
Oh, okay, yeah, he was. Yeah, I interviewed him and he was talking about his he was fortunate being a writer that he would go work in Jersey and bring his stuff in. But who did you get to then work with when you had your Shanice album on LaFace?
Oh my gosh, I worked with so many people. I got to work with Dallas Austin.
Okay, yeah.
I worked with Jermaine Dupri.
Oh.
I worked with, of course, Babyface did a lot of the songs, and Daryl Simmons. Who else? Warren Campbell. Warren Campbell produced when I my first single, and I loved working with Warren because he's such a great vocal producer. He can sing, he can write, he can produce, he plays every instrument. He's just so it was a plus working with him. And then the record, when they put it out, in Billboard. We actually broke a record in Billboard. It entered it like 91 or something like that. And in the first week, it went, I forgot the number, but it jumped from 91 to like 12 or something in the first. And at the time, not now, but at the time, we broke a record. That was like the biggest jump in the history of Billboard at that time. So yeah, so that was really cool. And once again, that record did extremely well for me. And then they stopped pushing it. They started working. They were like, oh, on to the next artist, It's like, I feel like they didn't continue to push it the way they pushed the first single.
So, I mean, and I think looking out as an R&B fan back then, I do remember that around that 91, 92, 2000, that's when a lot of the labels started to go through their mergers and stuff. I think Clive got ousted at Arista, and then LA moved over to Arista and stuff. Did you think any of that affected that album for you? That sort of the industry moving around and stuff, and then.
Yeah, probably so. I really can't say exactly what happened because I really don't know. I really don't know. But that could have played a part, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. So when they're not pushing when they're trying to say, okay, let's move to next. How, as an artist, what sort of influence or what could you do? If they don't push out the next stuff.
Just try to start on the next one. I was really disappointed because I really loved that album. I thought that album was great. But you just have to just, keep it pushing. And, I started touring. I went on tour. I opened up for NSYNC, went on a big tour with NSYNC and got to open up. Yeah, you just have to, like, when stuff like that happens, then you just have to, stay positive and say, okay, what's the next thing? Let's keep it moving, because I was very down. And in the beginning, I was like, oh man, I really love this album. I don't know what happened. But so I started touring, and then I'm like, okay, let's start on the next album. And then I got pregnant and I got married, and the label let me go while I was 5 months pregnant. So yeah, so I was like, and I got a phone call saying, yeah, they're just gonna let you be a mom for a while. And I'm like, I don't want it. I want to have my baby, but I don't have to sit down. Like, I can still sing. Like, I still have my voice, So that was a really tough time for me. It was really tough.
So when I'm not doing this, I'm a mental health therapist working with under 19s. And part of why I started this was just to hear inspirational stories and for us to listen and say, wow, just amazing how in a big stage setbacks happen, but you still were able to sort of come through. I have no idea what that's like as somebody who has been from 8 singing and doing this, and then to be told, okay, well, you're pregnant, so you're yesterday. I'm not using the word yesterday, but we don't need you right now.
Right.
Personally, I mean, on reflection, how did you take that, and what was it like?
I didn't take it well at all. Like, I literally, I cried a lot. And I was really sad. My husband is an actor. So, after we had our baby, he was, he would get up every day, go shoot his show, go to work, he's still living his dream. And I just felt like everything was taken away from me. I felt really sad, like really, really, really sad. And I was like, I didn't want to be in the business anymore. Like, I felt like just giving up on the industry. And then I remember getting on YouTube, and I had this one fan that was so encouraging. He would put up all these videos of me and just like speak like really good things about me. And then the videos was getting all these views and everything. And I said, you know what? People obviously want to still hear me sing. So I decided to start my own label. So, and then in 2006, I put out an album called Every Woman Dreams, and I partnered up with another independent company, and I put out my first independent project in 2006. And I think on the Urban AC chart, we went to like number 12 or something. I forgot which number went up there. We did pretty good. But when it's your own label, it's expensive. It's so expensive to keep rolling because it was coming out of my own pocket.
Wow.
So we pushed it as far as we could, and then we had to stop. But that's what kept me going, is like the fans, honestly, is the reason why I'm still singing. Because when I get on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and I hear all the encouraging things, that pushes me to, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this for them. About the industry, if they want to act like that. It's for my.
Yeah, I mean, it's as I said, a lot of us will not understand what it's like or what's going on, because they don't make an announcement saying, well, Shanice is about to have a baby, so we don't want to. We're going to drop it. We don't hear, because
the crazy is when I told them I was pregnant. By the time I told them I was pregnant, I was like 5 months at that time. So when I got that message, I said, I only have 4 months left to go. I'll be in the studio for the next 4 months recording. Nobody's going to see me pregnant.
Yeah.
So I just didn't understand.
Did you get do you get a personal phone call from the president?
Yeah. I got a phone call from an executive, and he told me, he said, we think you're extremely talented, but we're just gonna have to let you go. And I'm like, huh? So yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
how much was that on the fact that, because if your album had, if Shanice had done, say, triple platinum or so, do you think that they would have, you know, they would have had second thoughts because, okay, no, this, what you're thinking?
I don't know. I mean, I know that it went gold, and I know that how much money when an album goes gold, I know how that's a lot of money for the label. So I know they made their money back, you
Yeah,
know? So I really don't know. I really don't know.
yeah. And you know, and I know that you know, we all know that you're married to Flex, and you know, I remember watching One to One. I said I went to college in the US and stuff, and but I didn't realize he was married to you until later on. But you know,
Yeah,
he was
we've been
a,
married years.
for how long?
We've been married for 21 years now.
Wow, my
Yeah,
God, 2000. Yeah, that's. I mean, so at that point though, um, how does family? Oh,
uh-oh, sorry.
okay.
My phone rang. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's probably LaFace come to say sorry.
Oh
I'm just
no.
kidding.
I would love that.
But in the midst of that, how? Because it's an amazing story that you mentioned that you got inspiration from a fan who was just posting and supporting you and stuff. How about family in the midst of what you're going through? Could they understand? Or does it, you know, when you're going through those dark times, do you push everyone away and no one can say anything encouraging?
Well, my family was there to support and encourage me. But you know, my mom and my aunt, they've always put in my head that even like when I was on top and everything, you can't just focus on one thing. Like it's good to put your mind on other things as well.
Yeah,
Like, you know, have other interests. It's, you know, and because just so that if God forbid if you having your up, because this industry you have your ups and downs.
yeah,
And you know, your downtime, you can have, there's other things you can focus on. That's why I love acting. I love, you know, there's different things I can do. And I think that helped me too. Just, you know, and I had my family to hold on to. I had, you know, so that helps. That helps me through it.
yeah,
My family helps me through it for sure.
yeah. The what did you miss the most during after, you know, because I can't imagine though how hard it is. Um,
It
you
was
know,
hard. It was definitely hard. It was hard. I went from traveling the world, being on tour, to just home. I'm just sitting at home. I have a beautiful new baby who I was so thankful that I had my baby, but I just could not. I couldn't travel anymore. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't. The touring and all that just stopped. Everything just stopped.
wow.
It was really hard. And then I'd get up and my husband would go to work every day, and he's still living his life. And I'm like, why can't I do the same? Like, why can't I live my life too and still have our baby? So
Yeah.
it was hard.
I mean, a lot of us also hear about what we here in the UK, you know, postnatal depression and how challenging that could be, and which, and I don't know how a challenge as a new mom then thinking about my careers taken instead of celebrating my baby and everything. Um, w-
Yeah. And I
how?
did it postpartum. I was very, very depressed. I could not stop crying. I'm like, I'm so happy. I'm looking at her beautiful face. I'm like, I'm so happy I have my baby. I just could not stop crying. You know, it was really sad.
Yeah,
But like I said, I went through that for a while, but then I snapped out of it. I said, you know what? I still have my voice. I still have people online saying they want to hear me sing. I don't need, I can still sing. Like I can still tour. I can still, you know, put out my own music. I do it. I do it for the love. And
mm,
I also, it not only for the love, of course, if you know, you want to make a living from it, but I have to focus on the love in my fans. Like if they want to hear me sing, and I love to sing, the other stuff, the money and all that will come. I think it's important for artists to really focus on this, the love of music, and that's why I do it.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.